Creamer Media's Mining Weekly is speaking to Natasha Viljoen, the CEO of Anglo American Platinum, which has just reported outstanding results. Natasha, I want to swing towards a report that I just spotted coming out from Nikkei Asia. It came out at Japanese time, 12 minutes past 1 this morning. And it said, Anglo American Platinum will be installing 320 megawatts of solar power generation at Mogalakwena, and it will be putting out 1 ton of hydrogen a day. I didn't see those sort of statistics until Nikkei Asia came through. What is your comment on their figures?
Yes, I think those figures are accurate. We're starting with a PV plant that will produce 75 megawatts, and we will be building up to the numbers as quoted to 320 and a ton of hydrogen a day. That's certainly work undergo, and that will be used to generate hydrogen for the 300-ton fuel cell truck that is under development and that we hope to see on the ground by the end of the year.
That's wonderful news. I'm glad to hear that. And will that take up the full 1 ton of hydrogen a day, or have you also got some to spare?
In the long run, we would like that we will look after our own hydrogen needs on the mine. And we're hoping to expand that to be able to distribute some of that further. As you know, there's quite a bit of work that we need to do with NASA and government to get approvals to get that done, and also to get the right level of standards that we will have to comply with to be able to some of that power back into the grid.
And I'm astounded to read in Australia and all over the place, people are just looking to get their hands on their green hydrogen. And they seem to have even more enthusiasm than we have. And you get iron ore producers saying, we're going to use this to produce our iron ore. We won't use coking coal anymore. And I've sort of flung in the question this morning, can you use that to produce platinum group metals? I mean, can you use the green hydrogen instead of smelting?
Absolutely. I think the reality is that hydrogen is an alternative as an energy source for areas that's difficult to abate, like like mobility and also heating. So there would be no reason in the future for us to use hydrogen to also in our own processing facilities. Our first step will be to deploy that and learn from that deployment at our Mogalakwena mine.
And so that means that you won't smelt in the future. You will have a green way of making green platinum. Am I correct?
Whether we won't smelt is a little bit difficult for me to say as we stand here today, and whether we use hydrogen as a form of energy instead of the electrical supply, I guess that is the kind of question that we need to answer.
And you've got a fantastic strategic document, which we're going to discuss a little bit later as well. But 100% of your operations will be fully modernized and fully mechanized in 9 years. So tell us about that.
I think it's important for us to recognize that there's 2 portions of this. The one is definitely modernized and with specific reference to our Amandelbult mine. That will not be fully mechanized, but certainly will be run as a combination of a modern mine and a certain portion of it we are working towards mechanization. Modernization specifically does not change the mine design, but it does change the tools and equipment that we use in conventional narrow vein stoping to make our operations safer and more efficient. As you would know, Martin, to convert a conventional mine into a mechanized mine is very difficult, and the success rate on doing that is pretty low. So our future on mechanization will be targeting a new area at the Amandelbult called 15 East, and we are currently developing to the ore body to start stoping soon. And it's in that stoping areas that we will have to push the technology over the line to ensure that we, in the Amandelbult application, can use the equipment that we've developed at our Twickenham mine.
And have you found that this modernization actually adds to the bottom line? Are you finding that there's financial benefit from this?
Absolutely, Martin. I think firstly, we're doing it because it's safer. And we know that the highest risk areas in a conventional mine would be in the areas of scraper winch operations and roof support. So all our modernization efforts are firstly targeting those areas. We then have an additional benefit of seeing efficiency improvements as we're improving ergonomics in our stopes, and that will ultimately definitely have a positive financial impact.
And another report come flying through from Australian Mining Review this morning saying that Anglo American would have 8 carbon neutral sites by 2030. I thought, we were looking at 2040. Are the Australians going to get 8 sites ahead of us? Or when are we going to get some carbon neutral sites? Or any of those going to be yours?
Well, our target is definitely to reduce our carbon emissions by 30% by 2030 and be carbon neutral on scope 1 and 2 by 2040. Saying that, however, for us going off grid with Mogalakwena will certainly be this first opportunity for us to be carbon neutral on that site. And there is a number of pieces of work underway to take us there.
And I've already interviewed the head of carbon neutrality at De Beers. But what about Anglo American Platinum? Who heads your carbon neutrality?
You will get to meet him a little bit later today. He will be talking on an area that's not necessarily, he will be joining our presentation and do a joint presentation with Craig and I, and that's Prakashim Mudlia. I think, and he's leading that work for us. I think it's important to note, though, that it's an integrated effort, that in every aspect of the business, there are small steps that we need to take now, and then there are the bigger steps that we'll continue to take in projects. And Prakashim Mudlia is heading that work for us.
And finally, I listen to the analysts. They come through to me, people I've known for 30 years. They say, hey, there's going to be such a shortage of platinum group metals, you won't know what hit you, according to their calculations. But I don't see that same panic anywhere. You seem to think you're going to have enough. If the world really decarbonizes, are you going to be able to supply this industry, platinum group metals? You sure you got enough? I was speaking about the super cycle this morning. Do you sort of confer with these analysts who are saying, hey, this looks big and it doesn't look like the platinum group industry can supply?
Yeah, Martin, I think it's important that we remain disciplined. And we've seen in the previous high price cycles how us as an industry lost discipline, and that didn't do the industry any favors. So from an Anglo Platinum point of view, what we're positioning ourselves to do is to have options available, and we will continue to explore those options with our disciplined capital allocation within our disciplined capital allocation framework, and we will drive towards value and not necessarily only volume.
That was Creamer Media's Mining Weekly speaking to Natasha Viljoen, the CEO of Anglo American Platinum.